talking to you guys while I exercise at the same time. I'm actually making improvements to the setup. How's my audio? Do you guys have audio? Let me know how this is. Let me know if you can hear me. So I see Soha saying hi. I see Atheist King 53. Can you confirm that you have my audio and that everything is okay? Actually, look, I improved everything. I have now a camera and a screen over there, and also another one over here where I can see your live chat over here. Slowly improving the setup. Soha is saying audio is great. Muhammad Omar is saying hey. Oh, I see Puya here as well. Hi, Puya. All right, what are we talking about today? How do you guys like this setup, huh? This is much better than before. I see my head is cut from the top. Maybe it's fine. It's fine. All right, but slowly we're making improvement. All right, Puya is saying everything seems good. All right, so guys. Okay, YouTube account. So there's a YouTube account with the name YouTube account, very original name YouTube account. You're asking me something that has nothing to do with the title of this video. Look at the title of the stream, and we're gonna keep the conversation around the topic of the stream, right? Oh, N0202, who's a member on this channel, amazing, saying hi, happy to be back for another stream. Hey. Hi, Anne. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being a member here. Okay. That's very sweet. Yeah, okay, cool. So we're talking about the correct way to criticize Israel. I've been thinking about this a lot because most people don't have the brilliant mind that I have been thinking about how to dumb this down for average people to be able to comprehend what I'm trying to say, because I have been following a lot of people in the past couple of days about their conversation about this whole mess that between Israel and Palestine. And god damn, these takes are so bad. Everybody am I saying that I have the answer and everybody else is everyone else's takes are naive and immature and simplistic? Am I saying that? Yes, that's what I'm saying, okay? But the thing is, when I explain it to people why their takes are so bad, it doesn't go through, all right? This is the problem that people like me have. They don't understand that other people's levels of understanding is a little bit lower, and they have to come up with stories and examples, and and then you come up with examples and analogies, and people are like, oh, that's not the same. Yeah, I know it's not the same, because if it was the same, I would be saying the thing. That's why I'm using an example. Anyways. Ian is here saying hello. Hi, Ian. All right, so let me give you an example of a bad criticism of Israel and how it's not justified, and then give you the correct version of the criticism and how that one is justified, okay? So this is the bad take, okay? And I've seen so many people say this. And this is so obviously stupid that I don't even know why I have to explain this. They say, look how many people are dying from the Israeli side, and look how many people are dying from the Palestinian side, and then you know who the oppressor is. And they say, look how much Israel has the capacity that it has to defend itself and to attack, and the Palestinian side, they don't have the same. So this is an unfair fight. I don't even know if I need to explain. Do I need to explain how dumb this is? Do I need to explain to any of you? I hope like at least people here realize what a dumb take that is, right? Let me tell you something, okay? Oh God, I don't know if I could say these things and not get in trouble with YouTube, right? Let's say I have a firearm, right? A really good one, right? And I have two, one in each side, okay? And somebody is coming in with me. I also have a knife, right? And somebody's coming at me with a knife. And I see that they have a knife, and I have two firearms and one knife. And I'm like, I could take my guns out and defend myself. But this guy has a knife. So maybe I should take out my knife to make this fair? No. I'm going to take both of my guns out. And let's say like this man was really bad in using his knife, and people are like, oh, he didn't even have a chance anyways. Why did you shoot him down? Or like, well, I wasn't going to take a chance. Like, and they say like, you know what? Even his knife is so bad that even if he like managed to get at you, you would just get like a bad injury, a permanent injury, but you wouldn't die, right? You're like, okay, yeah, that's good enough for me to just make sure I shoot him down, right? So I'm going to use everything I have. I don't care that it's not fair. If somebody's coming with me with what they have, with the intention to harm me, I'm not going to try to make it a fair fight. I'm not going to try to make it a fair fight. I'm going to use everything I have to stop them, all right? Do you guys get it? Okay. So, like, oh, why, like, who is it? Trevor Noah is like, it's not fair. They don't have the same weapons. The casualties more on one side. Like, okay, but if they had the same capabilities, the casualties would be more on the other side. Like, what the? Oh, like, what? No. Yeah, God damn it. So this is not a fair criticism, okay? But if you only focus at this argument, then it looks like, okay, then, oh, Armin, then you're saying Israel has the right to use all the force and everything, and so Armin is on the side of Israel and he's against Palestinians. Okay, so the problem with this is that this argument will only make sense if you're only looking at the short term, like if you only focus on what's happening during the missile exchanges, right? You say like, okay, so Hamas is shooting missiles into Israel, and Israel is retaliating. Israel is trying to avoid killing civilians, but it's hard because Gaza is packed with civilians and militias together, and also Hamas uses civilians as shields. But at the other side, Hamas actually actively tries to attack civilians. So just looking at this, okay, you look like, okay, I mean, you can't just let the missiles go unresponsive. Like, you can't just like rely on your defense system, on the Iron Dome. You have to actually actively try to take out the people who are throwing the missiles. So just zooming in this narrow back and forth, you might think like, okay, this seems like Israel is in the right. Yes, the civilians dying are casualties and all, but again, Israel cannot just like not take out these people who are throwing missiles at civilians in its country, right? So that could be what you're saying. However, once you zoom out a little bit, look at what's actually happening. Everything I said is true, by the way. Everything I said is true, but you have to have a very narrow focus to look at it without like the bigger picture. And if you just look at it like that, then it looks like, yeah, Israel, okay, sure. Israel right, Palestine wrong, okay? So let me actually fix this by zooming out. But before I zoom out, let me just read some comments. Ayan is saying, it is so dumb that they think Israel is powerful, so they should take rockets from Hamas, and shouldn't do anything. Yeah, so you're right. Abba saying, When can't really argue. Okay, your English. Sorry, Abbas, I can't read I can't understand. Oh, we. Okay, so you corrected. We can't really argue theoretical possibilities and taking politics when people are dying. It should just be seized. Okay, it should. Abbas, then go ahead. First of all, this is not theoretical. This is what I'm describing is actually what's happening. And you just say, well, it should just be seized. Okay, Abbas, you just keep saying that and see if that works, okay? Abbas, it's very funny because, well, it's not funny, but he's saying it shouldn't be theoretical, but then he just says something completely theoretical that is not going to be followed. So that's not very helpful, Abbas. Anyways, I'm going to go back to my analogies, which are such a good analogies, by the way. Like, you use these on anybody, it doesn't matter how dumb they are, it makes everything very clear, okay? So that one is for free for you guys out there. The first analogy was the guy with one knife and somebody had two guns. If somebody comes at you with a knife, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to use a knife to make it fair. No, you're going to use everything you have, right? So there's that. Second analogy to that is, now that the zoom out analogy that makes Israel, so this was the wrong way to criticize Israel, to say like, oh, it's unfair, they have more power, so they're oppressors. That's dumb. Now here's the right way, the zoomed out version, okay? That gives you better perspective. And I'm going to use an analogy, right? Imagine that you have two neighbors, okay? Both of them are big families, right? And you have, it's patriarchal, so you have both of them, the head of the family is the husband here and the husband over there, and they both have sons and daughters and a wife and the grandpa and the grandma in both families. There's a big family in both sides. Two houses right next to each other. You have the father who's the head of the family in both of these houses, and you have big family in both of them, okay? On one side, one house has state-of-the-art, like top-notch, very expensive security, and the dad also has like giant machine guns, okay? On the other side, the dad is like an aggressive criminal, and he has knives and he uses knives to stab people. Kind of a little bit similar to our original analogy, but now this one has a more complicated story, okay? Okay, Muhammad Omar, you're behind, you completely misunderstood what I was trying to say. Anyways, I'm going to continue with my story. See, even when I try to simplify things for you guys, you guys still don't get what I'm trying to say. That was not the point, Muhammad. Anyways, what was I saying? I'll get back to you, Muhammad, later. Okay, I'll respond to you. So now we have these. Focus on my story right now. Guys, I'm dropping something for you. This is like really good. You don't understand. This analogy that I'm going to give you is really good. You guys could use this, and it makes things clear for you, okay? You have two households. The head of one of them is the dad is like a rich guy with top security and everything in his house and two giant machine guns. And the other one, the head of the family, like they're poor, everybody is miserable, and the dad is a criminal, and he's very aggressive, extremely aggressive, and he also uses his knives to do his crimes, right? And he also belongs to this very violent cult, okay? And they have if he manages to take out, like the cult is a weird cult, he might get monetary support if he manages to carry out some missions, right? And the missions are weird, he needs to I don't know, right? And here's the thing, so let's say family A was the one with the big, rich family with big security and machine guns. Family B is the guy with the dad, which is which is a criminal, aggressive person that belongs to a cult. Okay, that's family B. Okay, but the dad from family A, okay, he has a problem. He's not a good guy, but just because the other guy, the dad from the other family is a criminal, this guy is like a white collar criminal, right? He's also a criminal, but not in the same way aggressive, going around stabbing people kind of criminal. He's like a more sophisticated kind of criminal, okay? But he has a problem in his household. He's such a shady guy that his wife is considering divorce, and his wife owns the house and everything. So if there's a divorce, it's not like she's not going to take the kids and go away. It's him that has to leave. Okay, so he has a problem with this, and he doesn't want to go through this divorce. It's really bad for him. It's going to be big consequences. He might go to jail because his wife has some information. And they're getting too complicated. Yeah, you guys probably know who I'm referring to with this example, right? But he has a plan. He knows that the neighbor is this really crazy, aggressive person, right? And that he's looking for targets for his cult so that he could get some funding. So what he does is that he tries to intimidate him. He tries to intimidate the man, the father from family B, so that that man comes and tries to attack his own children. That's how bad, that's how evil the father from family A is. He tries to go poke him or somehow cause some conflict with him, so that he knows that that guy is going to come for his children. He doesn't care. He wants him to do that so that he could just open his machine guns on his whole house so that his wife comes back to him, right? This is his plan to make sure that his wife comes back to him. Like, I'm protecting our children. You understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? So he basically does some horrible things to his own neighbor. He knows that this man is a crazy. He knows that this man could do some insane crap to his own, he puts his own family's, his own children's life at risk just so that he could go out and try to defend his children so that his wife doesn't divorce him. Do you understand what I'm saying? He let's say let's say you have 5 kids and you did something, I don't know what you did. You somehow you on purpose did something so that your neighbor hates you, okay? And then you put your own children in a vulnerable place, and this guy comes for your children, and now one of your children is gone, and your wife is so devastated, so sad, and she's so crying, and you go find your machine guns, and you just start opening it on. By the way, YouTube, this is a story. I'm just using analogies, please. I'm not calling for violence or anything for anybody. This is just a story. I'm trying to make a point. God damn it, I probably said too many bad things. YouTube, I promise, YouTube algorithm, please, YouTube algorithm, this is just a story. None of this is real. Violence bad, okay? Violence by YouTube, violence bad, okay? I promise. Oh God, I'm gonna get in trouble. Anyway, he opens the machine gun on the whole household. Just opens it, right? And the thing is that if he wants to take out that guy, he kind of doesn't. There's no other way, right? He can't go to his house, and he actually takes out some of his children by doing that, right? But your wife doesn't care. Your wife just wants revenge. And your wife wants your wife wants to make sure at least the father from that house gets taken out so that no other children die. And he took out one of your children, but in the process of trying to get him, let's say you took out 5 of his kids. Your wife doesn't care anymore. Do whatever you can so our children are safe. And you just keep just open the machine gun. Your wife is so desperate that one of your children has died, that no matter what the collateral damage is on his house, Just do whatever you can so that you might have actually get the dad, so none of our kids are. And your wife is not thinking about divorce anymore. This is what your plan worked. Your plan worked because you don't care about your own children. You just want to make sure you don't lose the house and your wife doesn't divorce you, right? So you sacrifice your children and 5 of his children. And by the way, that maniac from the other side, he doesn't care about the fact that 5 of his children went as well. He's like, oh, these are all just sacrifices to my dark lord from my cult, all of them. His children, my own children, they're all good. So you don't care, he doesn't care. But he just wants his cult members to be happy, and you just want your wife not to divorce you. Okay? So the example I'm giving, this is like think about Netanyahu as like the father figure in the family A, and the divorce will symbolize the fact that there's a coalition being made in the political party against him, and he might lose his power and he might be removed from his position, right? And obviously the father from the other side is the Hamas, right? None of them care about their own children, right? And here's another thing. What happens is that now that when your kids meet their kids in the street, they start fighting each other as well. Like, your kids are now attacking his kids, and his kids now are attacking your kids. Like, family A kids are attacking the kids of family B, back and forth. And the problem is that these kids, these people, this entire 2 family now hate each other, but they shouldn't be hating each other, because this was a battle, this was a crazy fight between dad A and dad B. It shouldn't be a fight between family A and family B. But let's say some of your kids actually managed to kill some of their kids, and some of their kids managed to kill some of your kids. Now it's really hard to undo this hatred, right? Anyways, let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, Muhammad is saying, I'm sorry, Armin, I'm just not convinced by the Hamas uses human shields argument. The civilian casualties are too high. So, Muhammad, you have no idea what I'm saying right now, okay? You think even when I'm dumbing things down, you're incapable of listening to what I'm saying. You hear, as soon as you just hear I'm saying Hamas uses civilians as human shield, you just assume that, oh, okay, that I must be making arguments for Israel. Every single one of you, your minds are so binary that you are, as soon as you hear certain phrases, you just assume the rest of the argument that somebody's making. You're either in my camp or you're not. And if you use this phrase, oh, so you belong to that camp. Maybe pay attention a little bit to what I'm saying. I understand, but the other argument also works. Israel has Mossad and sophisticated weapons. They can be so precise to not attack civilians and just target Hamas, and Hamas also hides behind civilians. Okay, that's true. However, the counter argument is that to be able to use sophisticated weapons that are so precise and stuff is that you first have to know where these people are. It's hard. If you don't have any presence inside Gaza, then you can't, you might have sophisticated weapons that could target one person at a specific space, but you don't know where they are. So you just know there's some operation happening there, and you just well, you know what, I'm going to take out that entire place. I'm not making that argument. I'm just saying that's the counter argument. Selva is saying wife refers to government. No, the dad is the government. The wife and the children and the grandparents, they're the people, okay? And wife divorcing from the dad is basically firing whoever is in charge, whatever party is in the government, and trying to get a new dad, okay? Okay, Muhammad Omar is saying the sad thing he will never take out the father from the other house, even though he could easily, and the children would die on the both. Yeah, okay, Muhammad Omar, you get it right. Yes, you're right, because even though he has his machine gun and he's like trying to fire at the neighbor's house to get the crazy dad called, technically he doesn't want to really get. Yes, okay, actually, Muhammad Omar, you get it, because the dad from the side A, he's like opening the machine gun on the other house, but he knows that if he actually is successful at getting the dad from the other house, from house B, the crazy one, then his plan wouldn't work anymore. He needs the dad from the other house to be a constant threat to his house, so that his wife doesn't divorce him. Because as long as there's a crazy maniac attacking your children, your wife is going to come to you like, please, 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 save our children, right? And you're like, I got this, honey. I got it, don't worry. And you're going to keep like killing, like shooting at his house. But you have to be careful not to, like you might as well, you also sometimes like might hit him, but you don't want to completely kill him. Because if you kill him, then your wife, now there's security and everything, and your wife will actually be like, move on, right? So it's true that the dad from the house B is like so obviously a criminal and aggressive and a cult member. Like it's so easy to show, like, oh my God, this guy is crazy. This guy is dangerous, right? But the dad from house A is a bit more dangerous, but in a more sophisticated way, and in a more evil way, and a more strategic way. But when you say that, we're not trying to dismiss how insane and cultish and aggressive the dad from house B is. But the thing is that the dad from house A is using the dad from house B, right? Like they hate each other, but they technically, like practically they're working with each other, right? Like even though they don't feel like they're working with each other, they are working with each other. The dad from house A is using the threat of the dad from house B to make sure the wife doesn't divorce him. And also the dad from house B is kind of happy about this whole situation because his cult leaders are like, wow, we like all this bloodshed. This is great. What are you doing in your neighborhood? Your children are dying. His children are dying. The Dark Lord is thirsty for blood. By the way, the Dark Lord is Allah, or Tehran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? Well, whoever, right? If you want to look at it politically, then whoever is funding Hamas, that's the Dark Lord. But if you want to look at it religiously, then Allah will be the Dark Lord. Or it could be a mix of both, okay? But they're happy. They're both happy, okay? And they're sending you money, and you're happy because you're like, wow, like the other cult members, they actually have to go look for targets. My targets is just showed up right next to me, and now I have an excuse to get support from the cult leaders. And like, you don't want, the dad from house B doesn't want the wife from house A to divorce the husband, because if she goes and marries a better husband, now everything is safe and all, and you don't have an excuse to go attack the children, right? You want that excuse. Anyway, so what's the solution? Hold on, let me see what you're saying. Yeah, wife is saying, yeah, Selva is saying dad is Netanyahu. Yeah, dad A is Netanyahu, dad B is Hamas. So I'm saying, wife, oh honey, you're my hero. Exactly. You said it wrong. You should have said, now if you kill him, you lose your leverage against your wife. Well, that's what I meant. Yes, if you actually manage to take out completely the dad from house B, then your wife doesn't need you anymore. right? I mean, technically, your wife doesn't know that you are the source of the problem. So if she figures out, your wife never doesn't even need you right now. She thinks that she needs you, but she doesn't. You are the source of. You are the one that is putting. Oh, here's an interesting thing. If I say the dad from house A is putting the children from house A in danger, that's not dismissing the fact that the dad from house B is a cult leader, a cult member that is dangerous to your children. Like, you're not dismissing. You're not like, oh, you're not Armin. If you say Netanyahu is putting Israelis in danger, so you are basically not holding Hamas accountable. No. Here's the thing. You are. But the thing is that the crazy dad from house B is so reliably aggressive that he can be used. Like, so you are not saying that the dad from house B is not a crazy maniac that is aggressive and a criminal. You are saying that. You're not dismissing them, but they are so reliable at being this aggressive that the dad from house A can use them as a way to put his own children at risk. Right? So you're not dismissing them. You're not saying, oh yeah, everything is dad A fault, so you're making excuses for house B. You're not doing that. Okay? I am saying it's so hard to separate Hamas from. Oh my God, I'm not going to read the rest of the. I hate Hamas. Oh my God. Okay, let me go to actually some serious. I feel like the situation itself were a lot simpler than Armin's example. Really? Okay. Well, then why nobody? Okay, if that's the case, how come you guys now get what I'm saying? But when I actually talk about no. Okay, so here's the thing. You're right. The situation is as simple as my example. However, my example doesn't have people emotional attachment with. Nobody is like. So because when you say Israel, people either feel hate or love. When you say Palestine, people feel hate or love. And when you say Hamas and Palestine, people can't separate that. When you say Israel and Likud party, people can't separate that in their minds, right? They feel like when you say Israeli people, Israel as a country, or Likud party, people can't understand these are three different things. And when you say the Palestinian people and Fatah and Hamas and Hezbollah and all the other groups, people are like, oh, these are the same side. These are different entities, but they put them all together, right? So the thing is that, yeah, my example is not more simple. My example actually maybe is a little more complicated, but because people don't have emotional attachment to it, they could see that, the dad from house A is not the same as the children, right? From house A, and not the same as the wife. Okay? It's not the same thing. So you could you don't have to be in love with A or hate A to collectively. You could be like, okay, I look at house A and I think the dad is the problem. I don't think the children are necessarily the problem. I mean, now the children have been made to hate each other, but they're the victims, right? And the wife is also the victim. And maybe if you could tell the wife and the children what's actually going on with their dad, maybe that's what you need to do. And you also look at house B and okay, I can't say oh, Armin, are you pro house B or anti house B? Or I don't know about the entire house, but I don't like their dad, right? So I'm just using this example as a way for people to separate things instead of hey, Armin, are you pro-Israel or are you anti-Israel? Or well, I don't like the Likud party. I don't like Netanyahu. I want peace and prosperity for Israeli people. I want Israel to continue being a country and a safe place for Jewish people. What do you want? Armin, what do you think about Palestine? Well, I don't like Hamas. I don't like Hezbollah. I mean, Hezbollah is in Lebanon, so that's... I don't even like Fatah. But they're not comparable to Hamas, okay? But I still don't like them. I think Palestinian people have been led to have some horrible views but they still deserve peace and prosperity and happiness. It doesn't matter. I mean, not all of them have bad views, but even the ones that do have bad views, they still deserve to be like Islam. I mean, they are victims of their bad ideology. They deserve to be happy. They deserve to have more rights. They deserve to not have actually say in who rules over them, right? Yeah, and they just, both House B and House A need new dads. Both of them need to get the divorce. Like, the thing is that the children have loved their dads, right? So if you look at in Gaza, they actually vote for Hamas, all right? And in Israel, they vote for Netanyahu. But here's the thing, guys. Just because they have bad views, that doesn't mean you should hold them as responsible for the crimes of Hamas and Netanyahu, okay? People are dumb. I mean, look at this live chat. Half of you are dumb, okay? Just because they have bad ideas and they vote for bad people in power, that doesn't mean they deserve to be hungry. That doesn't mean that they deserve to be unsafe. That doesn't mean they deserve to not have freedom. Even people with bad views deserve to be free, prosper, and happy. Most of these people with bad views and that make bad choices, they are victims. They have been lied to, okay? And they have been lied to and they've been brainwashed. That's not their, it's like, I'm not going to hold that, I'm going to hold them accountable, but not to the point of sacrificing their safety, right? Like, this is not like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, a lot of Palestinians chose Hamas. Okay, yeah, they made a bad decision. Does that mean they deserve this? Does that mean they deserve what's happening to them? No. That's not a proportional. Again, people, especially, first of all, you're a victim of Islam. You have Islam in your head. But more than that, you have extreme poverty. You have lack of employment. You have cutting down, no access to education, to healthcare, to basic needs. I mean, that's a recipe for radicalization. Like, this is like you have with the blockade and everything. Like, again, of course you're going to get radicalization. But again, if I say, of course you're going to get radicalization, I'm not excusing the fact that they've been radicalized. But also, I have an explanation for why they got radicalized. It's almost as if they have been designed, that whole place is just made to radicalize people and then use their radicalization as a threat against yourself, so you could then legitimize your position by defending against these radicals that you've created, right? And the other way is as well. Like, okay, so Likud is bad, Netanyahu is bad, but the Israeli people voted for him. So does that mean that Israeli people deserve to be unsafe because they chose wrong? No, they don't. People make mistakes. People are wrong. People sometimes are dumb. Again, look at yourself. Half of you are dumb, right? Okay, but this, yeah. So family A and family B, they need a divorce. But the thing is, it's hard to convince them, the wives from both houses, to kick out the man, kick out the husband, because they see that their husband is they think like the husband. They've been like, oh my God, look at him. For the sake of our children, he's going out and he's like really like showing it to the other side. Like, oh my God, they killed some of our children, but look how aggressively he's taking revenge. But the thing is that they don't understand that, yes, he's getting revenge and he looks like a hero now to you, but he put your own children in a vulnerable position on purpose. Okay? And that's the story that we need to tell the wives. We just basically need to talk to the wives of both houses. And we have to tell them, like, this man is not a hero. Okay? He looks like a hero, and that's why you're not divorcing him. But he sent your own kids as a sacrifice, just so that he can look like a hero to you. Both sides, basically. Okay? That's what we need. We need to convince the wives to get a divorce, and we need to convince the children that there's a new dad, and I know you had some historical attachment to your old dad, and you have like believe in story. We need to tell them new stories, okay? They have been told stories. Both dads from both house, when they tuck their children in bed, they tell them evil stories about the dads from the other house. We just need to tell the children new stories, and they have to like. It's going to be hard for them to accept the new dad, right? They're not going to be convinced. Their mom is going to try to tell them like we're gonna get divorced, and the kids are gonna complain like, no, we love our dad. Our dad is the hero. So we have to figure out how to convince the kids that they're wrong. I am saying yes, just like we were religious in the past, but when we are exposed to better views, we become atheists. Just the difference is they don't have access to better views. Yes, but they also have a lot of attachment to this dad, like emotional attachment. It's hard to undo that, right? It's hard to undo that. You could show people, you could explain. This is when you have an emotion. Here's the thing: if you love your dad, but it doesn't really matter how much facts I should put in front of you to show you that like your dad is not good for this family, because you have an emotional connection, and that's just in that situation, like reasoning is not going to do much. So we have to basically come up with emotional stories that could undo this. Silva is saying, remove Netanyahu from power, Palestine will lose its interest in extreme radicals, 50% of the conflict will be solved. Well, you can't just remove Netanyahu and don't replace him with somebody that is similar, right? The problem is that are there any parties in Israel that is not in favor of the settlements in the West Bank? They seem to be all in favor of it. So is there a good replacement? Xerxes? Is that what you named? Xerxes? Rouhani is garbage, but Iranians are voted for him. Does that mean they approve of IR? People simply choose the option that makes their life less miserable sometimes. Well, Rouhani didn't make their lives less miserable. Rouhani was a lie sold to Iranian people, and a lot of them realized that now that they made a mistake. Ayan is saying, Armin is coming for your wives. Armin is not coming for your wives. Your wives are coming to me without me even trying. NTR confirmed. I don't know what that means. Oh, wow. Fold left is saying helpful analogy. See? Somebody thinks that was a helpful analogy. Who was making fun of my analogy earlier? Okay. Wow, we've been here for a while. Wow, what the hell? Okay, I'm gonna read the few more comments and then go. Soho is saying, I wish I had the Men in Black flash thingy to erase their hate memory and get them to love each other and become one family. Aww. Well, here's the problem, Soho. Okay, so even if we remove the dads, the problem is that the dads had convinced their kids to to kill some of the kids from the other house. So now, even if we remove the dad, there's going to be a memory of, well, we actually fought each other even without our dads. Can we just ignore all of that? And the kids and the wives, it's going to be hard for them to just oh yeah, let's just forget all of that happened. It's going to be really emotionally really difficult, right? So that's the problem. I would say even religious people outside the war zone ignore good views over their attachment. Oh yeah, religious parents. Yeah, this is not just a religious problem, of course, yeah. So Johnny is saying, why? I think you're saying, I don't know why people still want dominant by using religion as tool. I don't know what you're saying, okay? All right. Ian is getting weird. I'm not going to read those comments, Ian. Why you get weird all the time? All right. Okay. Cool. All right, cool. All right, guys. I was here for I was here for longer than I thought, so I'm gonna stop now. And this was fun. How do you guys like the new setup? I think this camera quality is pretty low, right? Like I'm pixely. I feel like I'm very pixely. I need to get a better camera here, right? Yeah. Yes, so I understood what you're saying. Anyways, I'm gonna go. It's been long, but let me see if anybody's saying yes, better camera. Yeah, I have to figure out. Maybe if I have more lights here, the camera will work better. Let me know if you. I actually know exactly how to solve this whole situation, but nobody's gonna listen to me. So, what's a I could give you the solution to the soul conflict, but my solution is not really a solution when nobody will do it. So it's not really a solution. Anyways, oh, wait, Soha is saying looking good. So wait, so this is good? Is this pixely, or do I need to get it, guys? Yes or no? New camera. Give me ones if you're saying yes, new camera, and twos, or if you're saying this camera is good enough. I will have to spend money. So don't, so, wait, which one did I say? It's pixely? I have to spend money? Guys, support us on Patreon, link in the description, because apparently I have to spend money. God damn it, I have to spend money for a new camera. Because of the background, it looks pixelated. As far as the phone camera goes, it's alright. Oh, okay. The audio is fine, so that's good. Alright, guys, I'm gonna go. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I don't know, some of you didn't like my analogy. I think my analogy was brilliant because obviously I said it. How could it not be brilliant? Love you guys. Talk to you guys later. Bye. What the hell? Ah.